out the word shine and place that above the elephant and used some twine to add some texture, but now that I look at it, it almost looks like he's like tied up or something, and I'm telling you right now, that is not what I meant to do. He's not tied up. This elephant is free to shine wherever he wants to go, and I do not agree with any animal that is under duress for any reason whatsoever, and I absolutely despise zoos.
Hi, I'm Jax, and we're going to try things a little different on this one. The first 12 minutes of the video will be me discussing the Simon Says stamp April 2017 card kit, and the remaining minutes of the video will be the process of how I came to create the 10 cards. I will place the start time for the process time lapse on the screen now. Stay tuned, the video begins now. These are the remaining pieces that I have in the kit. I have all the inks, I have my stamps, I have 2 wobblies, a bunch of paper, quite a few tags left. I tried to emboss a few just to see what I wanted to do with them. I didn't use them, so I have those left over to use with something else. So this is what I have left over in my kit, and I made 10 cards. I challenged myself to create 5 cards with nothing but items found in the kit, and 5 cards using items in the kit, but then also using other parts of my stash. It didn't go so well. I did do some cards that were part of the kit. However, not all of them were strictly everything in the kit. I just couldn't do it. I mean, I tried and tried, but the items that I found in the kit were great complements to the items that I have in my stash, and so I did whatever I could to do the 5 and 5, but it just didn't work out. Let me show you the cards that I did create. So the first one is the penguin with Wild About You. She's standing on a puddle in the Arctic, and she's wild about you and everybody. And you see I added a little bit of snow on the bottom. I added some hearts, and this right here is some pink liquid pearls that I placed on the hearts. And this blue shiny metallic paper here is not part of the card kit. However, I colored the little penguin, I stamped it out and die cut it, and then I made a little frame with 2 pieces of paper that were found in the kit. Wild thing, I think I love you. I stamped out the little dudes in the stamp set, colored them with my Spectrum Noir Illustrator alcohol markers. I created this little scene that they're sitting on here, and then I stamped this on this white piece of cardstock, made little animal prints on the salutation here. In the background, I used some Tim Holtz Distress Oxide inks. That is card number 2. Card number 3 is Wild About You. I did very similar to this card where I used the Distress Oxide inks for my background, but I limited it to just the one color. I stamped all of the animals on the cardstock that I had in my stash. I colored them with my alcohol markers and then stamped a salutation, placed that on some foam core, and then stamped some of the stamps with the colored inks from the kit, colored in the hearts with my alcohol marker, and colored in this with some brown marker, and used the green cardstock. My 4th card, this is probably one of my favorites. I had 2 animals left that I had stamped, and I wanted to make sure that I used it. Made a salutation with one of the baubles, which I think is fun. I colored in the salutation here as if it was like an animal print, and did some sort of like animal skin type of thing. And then on the background here, I smushed the inks that came in the kit. Okay, I used the hybrid watermelon on top, then I used the orange flush, then I used the lemon zest, and then the key lime. And then I added a couple birds in the background, and they're just sitting there enjoying the sunset. Here you can kind of see that I'm moving away from the items in the kit. So what I did is I took some cardstock that was provided in the kit. This is probably one of the first times I had used the Distress Oxide ink, so it got a little away from me, so I made sure to embellish it just a little bit more just to hide some of the crazy that I had going on with this one. So once I had this covered, then I placed it into my die cutting machine and embossed this texture onto the paper. the dots and the lines. Once I had that, I cut some black cardstock up into strips, placed them onto the card. This Sparkle On salutation, I used my Versamark ink and embossed with a Wow Sparkle Glitter embossing powder. On this particular piece of paper right here, I also used an embosser, used the same distressed inks, and then used an embosser to create that texture on the back there. Then I outlined it with Broken China Distress Oxide inks on the edges, and then I did line this on a black piece of cardstock and then fussy cut it around to leave maybe like an 1/8 of an inch around the penguin so that you can kind of see that it's popping out a little bit. I did place it on a piece of foam, so it does have a little bit of dimension. And then I placed my Wink of Stella clear glitter pen on the strip on top, the strip on the bottom, on the penguin, and then I used glossy accents on the eyeballs and on the feet. Really, really pops those eyes. And I'm not sure the video can pick it up, but in real life, it's a big deal. And on the inside, it says, "Believe in your dreams." And this was Distress Oxide ink with the Broken China, and then I just used a stamp, a rubber stamp that I had in my stash. So that is card number 5. Card number 6, love this embossing folder. It is so cool. And what I did is I embossed a white piece of cardstock, and then I used the lemon zest to start on the bottom here. I used my fossilized amber Distress Oxide ink here, spice marmalade up here, and then I moved on to the worn lipstick, used some wilted violet, and I spritzed it with some water and got a little bit of a texture on there. And then while I was playing around, I just had some leftover stock placed right here with a starfish that I fussy cut out of a stamp set that I have, and I made sure I included some shells with a sand castle, and that came from a stamp set that was not part of the card kit. And then on the inside, I made sure to add Rest and Relax Sunshine. Use a yellow Spectrum Noir sparkle pen on this salutation right here, and this was from a Gina K Designs stamp set, and so is the salutation. So that is card number 6. This is card number 7. I had the embossing machine out, so I wanted to use a few embossing folders I hadn't used yet, and one of them was this beautiful flower, Daisy. I had that embossed onto the cardstock. Then I also had this beautiful vine, and I placed the embossing folder on this side for that, and then I did this embossing on this side, and so I have a little bit of texture on there. Then I took my Distress Oxide inks, made a blue background, and I colored in the petals and the inside here with Distress Oxide inks, except for the yellow. The yellow was this lemon zest. I tried to use the key lime on here, but it didn't work so well. So what I did is I used my Spectrum Noir alcohol illustrator markers and used the color grass. I took out my Versamark embossing ink and used a stamp set from the Hero Arts April 2017 card kit. I couldn't resist, and they had some really great sentiments that I wanted to get my hands on. So I decided to mix the two, and I used those from that card kit onto the cardstock for this card kit. Oh, and then I embossed it with a sparkle embossing powder. Added these liquid pearls drops. On the inside, it says, "You are a one-of-a-kind mom." I also purchased the Mary stamp. It was on clearance, and I wanted to make sure I grabbed that, but I thought that I would add that here. So this is card number 7. And then card number 8, I had my embossing machine still out, and I embossed this paper that was part of the card kit, and I created these small little flowers on there, if you can see that. And I took some white cardstock, I colored it with some Broken China Distress Oxide ink just to give it a very soft, pale blue color. I placed that as the back, and I put this on top of that, and then I created this out of a stamp that I had recently purchased and I really wanted to use, and so I made a background with the cracked pistachio and Broken China Distress Oxide inks, spritzed it with water, and then stamped with some Momenta black ink to create the image. I also stamped with a hello on a piece of cardstock that I had used some Distress Oxide inks on, and then used a silver metallic embossing powder to create the sentiment here. That is card number 8. And at this point, I really wanted to stop. But I thought, you know what? I only have 2 more to go. I can do it. I really wanted to use this paper. I thought they worked well with the color of the elephant. I stamped the elephant. I colored it in with my alcohol markers. Fussy cut that out and covered it with my silver Wink of Stella sparkle pen, and then covered its eyes with the glossy accents. And then I took a piece of silver metallic cardstock. I die cut out the word shine and placed that above the elephant and used some twine to add some texture. The dots that you see are the Crystal Nouveau Robin's Egg color here. On the side are some liquid pearls. So I added a few dots just to add a little bit more texture. And so that is card number 9. And my final card, I really wasn't sure what to do. And what I did is I took some of the orange slush ink, and then I took some Distress Oxide ink in the vintage photo, and I put the orange ink, splotched it around, and then I took the Distress ink and then I kind of went around it, and then I just attacked it with a crap ton of water and just let it do its thing, and then I kept layering and layering and layering. I wanted some kind of texture that looked like it was like an animal print of some kind. I didn't have any animal in mind when I did this. I just kind of was like, well, animals have spots and I'm gonna make fur. And I had the orange and I thought, well, that's part of the card kit, so I'll use that. I had some twine and I had some colored twine that I had recently purchased. I braided this together, the red, orange, and brown, and then I kind of weaved it with the twine. I glued it down with some matte medium, Wild About You, as a salutation with some hearts. On the inside, I used some tape to hold that together, and I love this embellishment here. It was fun to braid these things together, and I think it gives it a unique look to the card. So this is my 10th card. I thought it was a great kit. Thank you for joining me today. It has been a blast creating these cards, and I love the results. Anybody that's on the fence about a card kit, or you've never tried them before, you do not need to buy them every single month. Get the ones that you really like, take your time with them, have fun creating, and look at videos on YouTube for inspiration. If you like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this or what I'm going to create next, make sure that you subscribe to my channel and ring my bell, folks, to make sure that you receive an email in your email box the next time that I upload. Until next time, love your guts. Bye!